Valentine's Day is just around the corner and love is in the air with the Westminster Dog Show, Lucian Freud's art, even Tony Horton's fitness, and the most romantic cocktail you've ever seen. I'm Wendy Bounds. We're here off duty at the Hotel Pennsylvania where all the dogs are inside getting de-stressed before the big night. How do they do it? Let's go inside and take a look. Call it the Canine All-Star Game, Westminster's 136th annual dog show. Nearly 2,000 champions make their way to New York City's Madison Square Garden by plane, train, and automobile. About half shack up at the Hotel Pennsylvania across the street. It's the job of Jerry, the doggy concierge, to put anxious pups at ease. He's in pooch relations.
Well, at Hotel Pennsylvania, it starts from as soon as you check in. I greet you with a dog cookie, a commemorative postcard, some dog-friendly magazines, and it goes off to the dog spa, where we have our full services.
Downstairs in the doggy spa, many pooches hit the masseuse. Sparky here flew all the way from Sacramento. No hot towel service where he sat.
You start in the neck on any dog, and you're gonna feel the muscles.
Right.
You wanna come deeper, come lower. So a lot of times I get my hands underneath here and just start working.
This, just like this.
And I do a lot of thumb work, and then I'll turn around and do a lot of finger work underneath.
Isn't it time for Sparky to get up and me to lay down? Is it my turn yet? And just like athletes, the dogs need their heads in the game. That's where Annie, dog psychic, comes in. So Annie, when you do a reading on a dog right before the show, what are you looking for?
Just before the show, actually, I'm looking, a lot of them are anxious and nervous and afraid to go. And a lot of times, especially if it's their first time, like Reese, they do get a little anxious, but you know what? Reese isn't.
If you can tell that.
Reese is just so calm, honestly, and I want to say he's ready.
How do you know the dog's
I
temperament?
can tune into the vibration, okay? And this one's a lover.
Still, sometimes a good workout is the best way to keep fur from flying before the big day. Does it keep it in shape or does it keep it from being too agitated?
Well, it's hard to exercise them in New York, being with the streets the way they are, and he just flew in to maintain his conditioning. These treadmills are like vital. This dog's worked out every day, bikes about 5 miles, or treadmills one or the other, about 5 miles a day, so he needs to stay in shape like any athlete.
And if things don't work out at Westminster, the smarter pooches, they have backup plans. So Sydney here is a golden retriever. I'm very partial because I own one, and she's beautiful, but you're saying she's not all about looks. She's got some brains, obviously, too.
Yes, she is. She is FEMA certified. She is certified for disaster, cadaver, wilderness, and she has done some avalanche.
Do you think that training helps her in the show to be very calm during the competition?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because you have to have a real confident dog to be able to go in and do search work.
It's like the Super Bowl for dogs.
It is, and the more pressure there seems to be, the more she kind of excels.
So you're hoping she's like Eli Manning then?
Yeah.
Yes. And forget about Valentine's Day chocolate. That's bad for dogs anyway, isn't it? Yes, it is. Elva Ramirez, she shows us how to make a little love potion from the French.
For Valentine's Day, I wanted to find the most romantic drink ever. So I came to Restaurant Danielle, the White Cosmopolitan. It's this vodka-based drink with Saint Germain and Wayne cranberry juice, but the surprise is the frozen orchid in the middle. It's a new way to give flowers on Valentine's Day.
This drink is romantic. Why? Because this is an orchid flower, so it's very seductive, and it's very original to offer some flower in a cocktail. I'm going to pour some vodka, like 2 ounces. It's the base of the cocktail. After, I'm going to use the floral note from the Saint Germain liqueur. It's from France. To balance the Saint Germain liqueur, we're going to use some squeezed lime juice. All right, and finish with the white cranberry, so 3/4 3/4. Voilà. So the orchid flower frozen in the middle of the martini. I'm going to pour the white cosmopolitan in the carafe. The part of the service. And in front of you, I made you the white cosmopolitan. Voilà. enjoy.
A lot of these dogs have traveled a long way. Cagney here came all the way from Washington State, looking pretty good though. But we're going to take you across the pond right now to look at an art exhibit of the late British artist Lucian Freud.
Well, I think one of the things we know about Freud is that he built a world from the studio. I mean, he says, I want to paint in the rooms in which I live.
I'm talking to Sandy Nairn, who's the director of the National Portrait Gallery, on the occasion of this magnificent Lucian Freud portrait show.
We start off in the late 40s, come through the 50s and 60s. I mean, it's a career of 7 decades, but by the 80s here, we're in mid-period, and then of course it goes right through the 90s and right through to the recent last year. In a sense, this painting is rather uncommon because so often in the early years he worked at a very small scale. I mean, we see in those early works very beautiful, particular paintings, very, very fine brush strokes, using the sable-haired brush. And then, of course, he changes, as we know, in the sort of late 50s into the 60s, into the hogshair brush, and it all gets much more expressionist. But it still remains small scale, and then in the 80s, he begins to break into this larger scale.
Astonishing picture, isn't it? I mean, she looks like Venus enthroned. It looks like a goddess.
Well, it is one of the really grand pictures by Lucian Freud, and this I think we feel is the sort of mature phase where the great, known as the benefit supervisor, because she worked in the Social Security Office, but Sue Tilley is the subject here, and she became one of the sort of fixed parts of the studio for a period, and these 4 paintings we have together, we wanted to make one of the great highlights of the exhibition. There's also a nice sense, I think, of because she's asleep, and she's asleep in some of the others, you can't quite get close to her. So you're like the artist, you know, she's not looking back, she's looking away, or she's asleep, or she's somewhere distant.
And this is Lucian Freud's last portrait, done in 2011 and left unfinished at his death. As you can see, he hasn't quite got round to the hind legs of his beloved Whippet. This is Paul Levy for the Wall Street Journal at the National Portrait Gallery in London.
And if romance to you means globe-trotting, Carrie here came all the way to New York from Minneapolis. We're going to take you now to look at some of the most luxurious apartments all around the world. What do you think, Carrie? And remember to tune in every Monday for all our real estate finds. These dogs are inspiring me to get a good workout, kind of like Tony Horton does. Now, he's the fitness guru behind P90X. The Wall Street Journal, we've got the inside story with him. And if you've ever wondered about his hair, we've got answers on that, too.
I do have a special personality. Ab Ripper X.
I was on a plane ride coming back from Philly, and the pilot was using it, and two of the flight attendants were using it, of course, and we're chatting with them, and the pilot, the flight attendant said, "Hey, do you mind talking to the pilot after the flight?" Of course, the guy just flew me here safe and sound. And the pilot says, "You're the first guy that made hard exercise fun, so that I wanted to come back and do it again." And in the past, I've always understood as an ex-athlete that hard exercise is effective, but it was always so miserable. The process was miserable. And he said it was really hard for me to come back over and over again when it was miserable. So you're the first guy that actually made it fun. I mean, you were doing pterodactyl impressions and bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions. And of course, I've got some, some pretty funky sayings that people want to repeat.
Call out your soups. What do you got?
Corn chowder.
Corn chowder, not dairy, I hope, dude.
When I exercise doing hardcore stuff, I surround myself with just funny people.
Scott, what do you got?
Okra. Oh. I mean, funny people who make me laugh, make me think, and there's a little competition there too. I even did stand up for a couple of years. It was mostly open mic nights around Los Angeles. Places like Club Cafe Lounge in Pasadena at 2 o'clock in the morning in front of 3 drunk guys who were throwing stuff at me. Yeah, that was a living. I just was an entertainer as a kid. I was not a great student. I had a speech impediment as a kid. We moved around 6 times before 5th grade. So, it was kind of a crazy mixed up world. And humor was the only way I could really kind of move forward in life, the only way I could really communicate with people.
Cheeseburger bad, fries bad, shakes bad, Coca-Cola, oops, I said it.
Unlike regular celebrities that you see on TV or in the movies, people see me every day. So it's my duty and my obligation that when somebody comes up to me and says hello, I want to hear the story. What are you doing? What day are you on? I've lost weight. Because who you're talking to are not fans because they like your movie. They're fans because their marriage is better. They feel better. They have more energy. We understood that a vast majority of the people who went to the gym were not getting results at the gym. They would go and they would learn how to use some of the equipment and they would take a class. But I don't know anybody, even wealthy folks, that feel like spending money on a personal trainer 5 to 6 days a week. So Carl Deichler, our CEO of Beachbody, came to me and said, "Can you create a program that people can do in front of their television set that is very, very similar to the stuff that you do with your celebrity clients?" And I said, "Absolutely. I mean, you don't need an elliptical machine and a treadmill and a hack squat machine and a lat pull machine. Those are great to have, and if you know how to use them properly and you go to the gym and you're keeping track of your form, then those things are great. But in reality, you need the human body and Mother Earth in Sir Isaac Newton's law.
1 and down, 2 and down.
You need dumbbells, bands, pull-up bar, and a mat for ab work and yoga work. That's it. I walk the talk. I eat fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean proteins. I make sure that I get about 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep every night. I have very low stress. I'm genetically lucky because my father and my mother into their 70s still had dark hair. My father's 78. He's got mostly dark hair. So I don't diet, so I'm sick and tired of that rumor, okay? Forget about it. That's the real deal growing out of my head. But I exercise almost identically to the way I do P90X and P90X too.
Up, up.
I'm pretty busy. My second book will be out in a couple of months called Crush It. First book, Bring It. Second book, Crush It. Third book, Pulverize It. Fourth book, Annihilate It. Fifth book, Obliterate It.
That's it for Off Duty today. Thanks to all my canine friends around here. Now, the Westminster Dog Show, it starts at 8 p.m. tonight. Don't forget to click to subscribe to the channel. Join us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Wendy Bounds. I'll see you back here tomorrow.